Guys, I just wanna let you guys know that I'm wearing a tube top, okay? I'm wearing a tube top. I'm not naked, in case you're wondering. I know you're wondering. I know there's a couple of you guys out there who are wondering as to why is she coming on here all naked. I'm not naked, okay? I'm wearing a tube top. So yeah. Can you all see it? I feel like you can see it. Yeah. Woo! So yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Good morning, kumoro, mwararapo, mwapenduka, muzuhile, uhandet. everything guys. Matisa, how is everybody doing? How are y'all doing? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day, because I'm about to do what? I'm about to ruin it. I'm about to do what I do best, and that is ruin your day with all these cases. It's not me though, because these people are just brutal. Today's story happens in Windhoek. Anastasia Lupita is a Caprivian woman born on the 11th of December 1981. She was born in Katima Mulilo. Anastasia is married to Peter Roscoe Muleke. Peter, at the time of today's events, he was 36 years old. Peter was married to Anastasia, and together they had two children. They had two boys, a 9-year-old boy as well as a 5-year-old boy. The relationship between Anastasia and Peter is not a good one at this point. The relationship is very rocky and it's having problems. The main reason why the relationship is having problems is simply because Peter is abusive towards Anastasia. Peter is very abusive. He beats her, he hits her, he is verbally abusive as well as physically abusive, and this was taking a toll on their relationship. Their marriage is very much troubled. Anastasia is still not filing for divorce. She's still in this marriage. Anastasia introduced a man called David Malati. When she introduced David to Peter, she introduced him as a cousin. Put that in brackets. We'll come back to that later. Let's just put that in brackets. We'll be back to the cousin story. It was Peter, Anastasia, as well as Malati. The three of them had a relationship, but Malati will come over to the house. He was the cousin, right? Like there was no problem as to why he wouldn't come over. He knew the kids, he had a relationship with the kids. Peter and Malati knew each other. Even though Peter was abusive towards Anastasia, Anastasia on her own was actually not an angel either. Because in 2005, Anastasia did something that resulted in her getting arrested. She went to go visit a friend of hers at the Katutura State Hospital. Her friend had just recently given birth and her friend was in the maternity ward. And she saw her friend, they had a conversation. The friend decided that, you know what, I'm just gonna go quickly to the bathroom and I'll be back. Anastasia saw her friend going to the bathroom. She took this opportunity to take the friend's baby, and then she went out of the hospital with the friend's baby. This was kidnapping. She had kidnapped the baby at this point. The friend called to the police. The police got involved because Anastasia was caught. She was arrested and then she was sent to prison. For the kidnapping situation that she tried to do, she got only 2 years in prison. She serves only 1 year of the 2 years that she got, and after 1 year, Anastasia is released. Anastasia is back into her marriage. The relationship got worse at this point. It didn't get better, it got worse. Now he was not only just punching and kicking her, now he was using sharp objects to cause harm on Anastasia's body. There was a situation whereby the two of them had a fight, right? While they were fighting, Peter got a hold of a knife. He stabbed her in the stomach and her insides came out. Anastasia didn't really tell the court as to what is it that happened between the two of them. All she said is that they had a huge fight. He stabbed her, her insides came out. She went to the hospital and the hospital told her to open a case, which she did. She opened a case against her husband for basically that's attempted murder. He just literally attempted to murder her. So she opened a case. That's it. You know how the Namibian police are. You never hear from them ever again. That's it. So that case just went like that. Now, Anastasia at this point, she was planning to exit the marriage. She decided that this marriage is going to cost her her life, and she was not really ready to lose her life. So she was planning to exit the marriage. For her to exit this whole marriage, she needed help. The first people that she went to for help were the police, because she went to open the case. So she went to the police to go ask for help and tell them that this man is one day going to kill me. And if he's not going to kill me, then he's going to cause some injuries on me. I don't want to be with this man anymore. I don't want to be with this marriage anymore. But also, I'm not financially stable to just leave the marriage after all these years. One night, Anastasia calls David and she is venting to him. She is venting to him, telling him that she does not want to be in this marriage anymore. She is telling him about the court process and just how slow the court process is. You know how courts are, come today, come tomorrow, do this, do that. Like, things are just never finalized. Even if they do finalize, it takes years for them to be finalized. And she was tired. Malati suggested something. Malati was like, I have a solution for, like, I have the quickest way ever. You don't need to deal with all these court processes and all these papers and all these documents. I can hook you up and, you know, fix it. Anastasia was like, okay, I'm listening. What is this plan that you're talking about? What is this major grand plan that you have? So Malati manages to convince Anastasia to murder her husband, to get rid of her husband. He manages to do this. I don't know how. As a cousin, he manages to do this. And I'm gonna sip my wine on this whole cousin thing, because anyway, Malati manages to convince Anastasia to murder her husband, and they start to plan to murder him straight away. The first option that they consider is poison, but they didn't want to do this the medical way. They wanted to do this the traditional way, because in Africa, we believe in our traditions. Okay, we believe in dealing with things the traditional way, and they wanted to deal with this one the traditional way. And also, the traditional way doesn't really leave tracks. It doesn't leave traces like the medical way. For example, if you were to poison somebody and then an autopsy is done, it's going to come back to say that you have poisoned that somebody, because traces of the poison is going to be left in the person's blood, right? But if you were to deal with the person the traditional way, there will be no tracks. There will be no traces in the blood. There will be nothing, none of that. So they wanted to deal with this traditional way, and also the cleanest and quickest way. They started to look for a traditional healer. They met with David Konjara, and through David, they managed to get a traditional healer. The Anastasia was introduced to David Konjara through David Malati. So, you know, just so that it's clear. They went into David's Konjara's barber shop. He was cutting hair. He worked as a barber. They went into his barber shop. They had a discussion with David. They spoke. Malati and Anastasia basically told David what is it that they wanted to do. So David was like, okay, cool. I know a traditional healer, and he lives just right there, just down the street. Just go down the street and you will meet him. And that is what they did. So David went outside his barber shop. He pointed at the house of the traditional healer. He connected to the traditional healer with Anastasia and Malati. And this is when the traditional healer now comes into the picture. Now, guys, the traditional healer is only known as the traditional healer. I don't know his name. Guys, I was digging because I wanted to know, who is this traditional? Everybody has names. How come the traditional healer doesn't have a name? Everybody has names. I searched for the name. I swear, I searched for the name. I couldn't find the name of the traditional healer. I don't know why. That's it. I couldn't find his picture. I couldn't find his name. Nothing. Anastasia got the potion. She took the potion home. She gave the potion to Peter. She's his wife. She probably gave it through his food. She gave it to him through his drink. It could have been anything. She literally has access to everything that has to do with Peter. She is his wife. She lives in the same house with the man. So how she gave the potion to him, that is between her and, I don't know, she's going to probably take it to her grave. She gave him the potion to take effect. She waited and waited and nothing happened. The potion didn't work. It didn't take any effect. her husband was still alive. She was livid. She couldn't believe that her husband was still alive. She called Malati to complain to him that her husband was still alive. Anastasia and Malati decided that they are going to lure. Ooh, is that how you say it? Lure. They wanted to take him to Ketmaswap and drown him in a dam. They decided against it. They were like, nah, we're not going to do that. They decided against this. They were like, no, they are not going to drown him at Ketmaswap. But what they decide to do, however, is they decided that they are going to go back to the traditional healer that sold them the fake potion. They are going to go back to the traditional healer and they are going to complain and possibly maybe get a refund, because there's just no way. There's just no way, because the thing didn't work. So they just wanted answers as to what now. It didn't work, so what is the way forward from here? So they decided to go back to the traditional healer. They told the traditional healer while they were there, they told him that the medicine that he sold them was fake. It didn't work and they wanted their refund. Traditional healer did not give them a refund, but he did give them another solution. He said that this is what I want you to do. I want you to lure your husband to Koreahab. Koreahab is that area of that side of Penduka. I want you to lure your husband to Koreahab, and once you do that, you let me know and then I will handle the rest. This is what the traditional healer informed Anastasia. Anastasia was not sure of these ideas, so she basically told the traditional healer that she needs time to think about this because she's not sure. While she was thinking about this, Malati was on her ear. He was there whispering, telling her like, yeah, this is a good idea, let's do this. I feel like one of the major reasons as to why she agreed to do this, I personally believe that Malati probably enticed her with the idea of an insurance payout, told her that there's an insurance payout and if she goes ahead with this, then she's gonna get this money. The insurance payout that she was going to get for the death of her husband was around $30,000. To Anastasia, this was a lot of money, and this money could actually help a lot because she was also kind of, struggling financially. So now we are in 2014. Anastasia is hatching this devious plan. Anastasia and Malati came to the conclusion together as cousins. They came to the conclusion that now they are going to murder. Now they were ready. They are going to murder Peter Roscoe Muleke. They asked the traditional healer that if you were to go through with this, how much will it cost me? This is now Anastasia asking the traditional healer. If this were to actually happen, how much would you charge me? I'm guessing the traditional healer had to find the people to do this. So he went, got his people together, came back to Anastasia and told her that we have decided as a group that we want 7,000 Namibian dollars. 7,000. Anastasia, however, told the gang, because this was like gang at this point, it was a gang, let's just call it as it is. Anastasia told them that she did not have $7,000. She only had $1,000 in her bank account. Between the $1,000 that Anastasia was offering and the $7,000 that they were asking, they came to a conclusion that they are just gonna charge her $3,000. She truly did only have $1,000 in her account, but she managed to borrow the other $2,000 from somebody else, and then she managed to get the $3,000 together, which she took to the witch doctor and David Conjura on the 27th of March 2015. She took the $3,000 to them, and with the $3,000 in their possession, now they were ready to carry out this devious, horrific crime that they were planning to commit against Peter Muleke. On the 29th of March 2015, Anastasia went to her husband. It was around nighttime. She went to her husband Peter and she told Peter that she needed to go to Koreahab. She needs him to drive her to to Korea to go get a sum of money that somebody owed her. Somebody owed her like a large sum of money, and she wanted to go to Korea to go collect this money from this person. She managed to convince him. She was like, it's now or never type of situation. Like, we need to go now. Like, we have to go now to go get the money. So they left. Now, the people that were involved in this is David Konjara. David Konjara was only 37 years old at the time. He was working as a plumber and also as a barber. David was friends with Donald Hinjo. Donald Hinjo is killer number 2. Donald Hinjo is David's Konjara's friend. Donald Hijo was also unemployed. He also did not have a job. He was just doing odd jobs here and there. David Konjara and Donald Hinjo were friends, and the two of them knew the traditional healer. The traditional healer also organized 2 other people. The 2 other people is Apyut Wadewa as well as Dolam Shishahoma. Now, this is where Dolam Shishahoma comes into the picture. Now, for all of my hereros, I'm also herero for those of you who don't know. All of my hereros, we all know who Dolam Shishahoma is. Dolam Shishahoma is the OGs of Obirishi, you understand? That is like where Obirishi came from. This is the people, or this is the artists that we were listening to growing up. I remember growing up to Dolam's songs. He is a musician. He is an Obirishi musician. I'm also going to insert a clip, one of his songs, my favorite song personally. So it was Dolam Shishahoma, Apyut Wadewa, David Konjara, as well as Donald Hinjo, and their traditional healer, whose name is unknown up to now because his name was never included. He was just known as a traditional healer. So these people now were already at Korea Dam waiting for Peter and Anastasia. As for David Malati was to arrive in a separate car. He was also on his way to go to Korea to go meet with the rest of the people. The other group were already there, but Anastasia and Peter were driving there now. They were driving to Korea at the spot to get the money that Anastasia was claiming somebody was having of hers. But we all know that she's lying. We know that she's not telling the truth. On the 29th of March 2015, around 10 o'clock in the evening, couple Anastasia Lupita as well as Peter Mulege arrived at Korea Hub at the spot they were supposed to meet. They got there, they met with the rest of the people that were already there. And they lured Peter into a more secluded area. They were like, yeah, we have the money, but the money is not here right now. The money is like at that spot right there. So they all went to that spot right there to go get the money, and this is where they all attacked Peter. Now listen, guys, listen. Anastasia and David Konjara as well as Donald Hinjo claim that they did not have any active participation in the death of Peter. They were merely just spectators. They were merely just standing there watching. So according to Donald Hinjo as well as David Konjara, it was Dolam Shishahuma and Apyut Wadewa who were throwing the stones towards Peter because Peter was stoned to death. He was first hit with a blunt object, which is, I believe, is a stone, and then they just continued to throw stones at him until he unfortunately passed on. So he was basically just stoned to death. This is according to the statement that was given in court by David Konjara as well as Donald Hinjo. According to Anastasia, after everything was done, she ran off with the 3 men who did the stoning. She couldn't find Maleti anyway. I guess Maleti ran off before everything was done, but she couldn't find him anywhere, so she left with the other men on foot. They left Peter's car at the crime scene. They left his car there with his body, and then they ran off and went back home. He worked at the City of Windhoek municipality. So the next morning, Peter had to go to work. So people were looking for Peter. Peter's sister, she called the wife Lupita. She was like, I want to speak to Peter. Where is he? Lupita is Anastasia. Anastasia told Peter's sister that Peter left last night to go get gas. Like, he left in the middle of the night to go get gas. This is what Anastasia told Peter's sister. I'm like, what? But anyway, yeah. What Anastasia told Peter's co-workers is that she doesn't know. She really just went out there and told his co-workers that she doesn't know where her husband is. She has not seen him since last night. She does not know where he is. Peter's body was discovered on the 30th of March 2015. His body was discovered at the area of Korea Hub. His body was discovered surrounded by stones, bloody stones, because remember, he was stoned to death. His wallet was missing, as well as his cell phone with its SIM card. These things were missing, but his car was found a few meters away from his body. But Peter was deceased at that point. The police were thinking, we have a murderer on our case. This was obviously homicide. There was no any other explanation, because all the evidence was there. The weapon was there, the stones. So this was homicide. Peter's body was discovered on the 30th of March, and on the 1st of April 2015, Lupita Anastasia was arrested. Anastasia was arrested on the 1st of April 2015. She was arrested by the police, and she was taken down to the police station to go be, so that the questioning can start. Anastasia did not waste any time, because on the 2nd of April 2015, Anastasia confessed in front of the magistrate. She confessed to everything. She wrote a written confession. After Anastasia confessed, they arrested the rest of the people. This is when they arrested Malati, they arrested Konjara, they arrested Hinjo, they arrested the traditional healer. I don't know whether the traditional healer was arrested or not. I couldn't read that part. I did not, because I was looking for it. I was like, traditional healer get arrested. I was specifically looking for that part, but I couldn't find it. But they arrested the traditional healer. They arrested Dolam Shisha Huma. They arrested Abute, what they were. All these people were arrested, and then they were imprisoned. Now the investigation had to start. The investigation started on the 4th of April 2015. David Konjara confessed. This is when he made his confession. So now 2 people have confessed. Anastasia has confessed, as well as David. David made his confession on the 4th of April 2015. On the 8th of June 2015, Anastasia made a second confession again, another confession. Now she has made 2 confessions, which later she denied at the trial. Once the trial started, this is when she switched. Her defense, her lawyer, was not willing to take that confession into consideration. Reasons were overruled. The judge was like, we are not hearing that. The judge did not hear that. He was not listening. Now let's talk about the evidence. The evidence that the court used is basically just the confessions. They did not have any other evidence. David Matali was arrested, but David Matali died in police custody. David Matali was just fine 1 minute, and then the next, David fell, and that was it. David Matali died in police custody, but when he passed on, he was already arrested. He was already in police custody. But his death is kind of strange, though, don't you think? His death is kind of peculiar. How do you just drop dead? But I mean, we all know that they believed in the traditional way of dealing with people. So maybe he was dealt with traditionally. I don't know. I'm just assuming, guys. I'm just assuming, could be anything. Guys, people were arrested and people were sent to prison. Anastasia Lupita, as well as Matali, as well as David Konjara and Donald Hinjo, these ones were found guilty. They were found guilty and they were sentenced to life imprisonment. But Dolam Shishahuma as well as Abut where they were acquitted of all charges and they were released because the court couldn't find enough evidence to link them to the murder. The court works based on evidence. If you provide enough evidence, you give the court power to do what the court needs to do. But if you don't have evidence, the court will not have the power to prosecute the people. So because of the lack of evidence, Abut Wadewa and Dolam Shushahuma were acquitted of all the charges and they were released. They are free as we speak. But Anastasia, Konjara and Hinjo, the three of them were charged with the murder of Peter Moleke, even though they claim that they did not directly throw the stones. I'm air quoting because, come on. Even though they are claiming that they did not throw the stones, they were there when the stones were being thrown. They watched as Peter screamed in pain while stones were being thrown at him and he was being stoned to death. They did not call for help. They did not try to stop it. They did not try to intervene. In fact, if anything, you know, when David Konjara and Donald Hijo were testifying, they were like, Lupita Anastasia was standing there shouting for them to hurry up. Yep, you heard that right. She was telling them, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. We gotta go, guys. Anastasia. So that's what I'm saying. There's no innocent one here and there's no innocent person here. Even though you did not do it directly with your own hands, you still played a very huge role into the whole event materializing. If it wasn't for your efforts and for everything that you did, none of this would have happened. So the court thought that even though you did not directly do it as you claim, you still played a role in it happening. So you are just as guilty. The court found them guilty and they were sentenced to life imprisonment. As for the kids, they were staying with Peter's mother at the Sabesi side of the country. This is where they went to go stay. This really affected the kids because now the kids had to change schools and languages, and one of the kids didn't fail a grade, like he had to repeat because this had like a whole psychological effect on him. Not only did Anastasia just murder her husband, but she literally just destroyed everybody's lives. She destroyed the kids' lives because the kids lost two parents in one swoop. They went from seeing both of their parents every single day to not seeing them at all because the father is dead and the mother is in prison for the death of the father. No child wants to grow up knowing that your mother is the one who was responsible for your father's death. Nobody wants that. So that's why I'm saying that all this is just, crazy. But other than that, this is what Anastasia did. Now, let me tell you, rumor has it, this is rumors, Matiamba, we are gossiping. This is rumors. Rumor has it that Anastasia and Maledi were not actually cousins, but they were actually lovers. Yeah, like I read in the reports, there were actually people going around saying that the two of them are secret lovers. They are not cousins at all. This was like discovered later, like no, these two are not, which makes sense. To me, it makes sense. I mean, just think about it. What kind of a cousin will go through all these lengths for their cousin? I mean, this man is willing to kill for his cousin. Really? Like, we have cousins, but my cousins don't love me that way. My cousins are not going to kill for me. Like, this is some deep cousin love stuff. So, that's what I'm saying. For me, it makes sense. It makes sense when you say that. But this is rumors. Okay, nothing has been, confirmed. This is alleged rumors. So, let's just keep it as rumors. Plus, I don't know. I feel like he was just doing the most for a cousin. He was really doing the most. He was going to all these lands, connecting her with the killers for a cousin. But anyway, that is it, guys. Like, that is it. This is the end of today's case. This is the end of today's video. So if you guys feel like, there are things that you want to add, guys, I always want to hear from you guys. Like, I just want to hear, what do you guys think about these cases? what do you think could have happened differently? Why do you think this happened? Why do you think that happened? One thing that I want you guys to actually talk about, like the thing that I want us to talk about in the comment section is, do you guys think the two of them were actually cousins? I'm not buying the whole cousin thing. I'm not buying it. But do you guys think they were cousins? If you think they were cousins, just go into my comment section and tell us what do you think. So I personally think that they were not cousins. But anyway, let's just discuss it into the comment section. With that said, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to comment. Do not forget to leave a like. Do not forget to share. With that, thank you so much for tuning in into my video. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for sticking and staying. And I will see you in the next episode. And with that,